absolute basics of getting a 99 percentile in CAT or a close to 99 percentile in CAT are these three things, one per section. Once you know these, you will realize that these have laid out the exact thought process which you need to have in CAT, so that with whatever preparation level you have, you can score more. This is no fluff, direct to the point, those three things. But before I share that, one very important thought which I need to check with you, whether have you thought about your 99 percentile dream in CAT like this or not. If you have, let me know in the comments. If you've not, let me know in the comments that too, that yes, probably this is now how I need to think. It's a very simple thing. If you need to get a 99 percentile in CAT or whatever percentile in CAT you want, you know roughly what is the target score you should be aiming for. If you check the data for the last 3 years, you would know that okay, anything in the 99th percentile is equal to 50% of the total marks, which approximately in case of CAT it becomes roughly 100 marks. अगर आपके 100-105 नंबर आ रहे हैं तो आप अज्यूम कर सकते हैं कि आप 99 परसेंटाइल क्रॉस कर जाएंगे. Okay, now let us assume it to be 100. If you are assuming to be 100 and if you know that for example your strength is VARC, you need to really sit back and think it like this, that okay, ये मुझे 100 नंबर रफली लेके आने हैं, ये 100 नंबर आएंगे कहां से, कहां से निकालने हैं मुझे. Strategic thought process that okay, my strength is VARC, that means majority of these marks, most of these marks, this 100 marks will come from VARC, as simple as that, and the remaining I have to split between the two, or if there is a weakness which is very weak, I need to protect that weakness and get most of my marks on the other two sections. Now say for example if VARC is your strength and you say that okay sir, you know what, I've been scoring some 25 marks in VARC and I think it's going okay. It's probably not going okay, because then you need to realize that अच्छा 100 नंबर का अगर एम है तो मुझे गिरी से गिरी हालत में 40 से 45 40 to 45 marks I need to get from VARC, otherwise it will become very difficult for me to reach a score of 100. How do you reach a score of 100? Then I know that okay, my weakest area is my quant, in which I know that I'll not be able to score more than 20 or 25 marks. I would assume it to be 20 marks, which means 40 marks there, 20 here, 60 marks, remaining 40 need to come from somewhere. Can you get 40 marks from DILR? If yes, great, you have your broad strategy for how do you reach a 99 percentile in CAT. If not, then you need to rework these numbers. For all you know, you will realize कि यार wait a minute, ओके VARC में भाई 45 से कम नंबर लाने में कुछ नहीं रखा. VARC I have to make it reach 45 marks, because then once it goes 45, then I have to manage my quant, my weakest area, in such a way I get at least 25 marks from there, which makes it approximately 70 marks, and the remaining 30 marks I can manage somehow from DILR. Then we're talking about a real strategy, my dear friend. This was a very basic non-negotiable about getting a 99 percentile in CAT. If you had thought about this, let me know. If you've not thought about this, let me know also, because you need to write it down that yes, now this is how I'm strategizing. Let me know what is your breakup, what is the breakup which you are aiming for. Please think it like that. Stop wasting your time just seeing something on strategy and prepping and seeing सवाल देखते रहेंगे, अच्छी बातें हैं, but have you thought about this, that what is my game plan for CAT? If not, this is the. Now I'll give you 3 non-negotiables, one per section, which you need to ensure if you're down in the dumps, or if you're not doing well. I should not say that, but if you're not doing well, then how do you reach a point wherein it gets to a respectable percentile with whatever prep you have done? I'll start with quant first, because quant is something which is a problem area for a lot of students who've been speaking to me. One very simple thing, whatever are the number of questions of quant which come in the paper, and if you are somebody who's not a champion at quant, or even forget that point, even if you're great at quant, you know for a fact that for you to get a 95 percentile or a 99 percentile in quant, you need not attempt all questions. Not even the topmost people who are getting 99 percentile plus in quant are attempting all questions. You can see it in terms of score versus percentile which they have, which means that if quant is your weakness, then you are saying that okay, मैं 95 percentile भी अगर quant में ले आऊं, मेरा काम हो जाएगा. I just have to protect my weakness to that level. Or say suppose if you are saying that no, quant is my strength and I have to get more. The point is, my dear friend, the real attempt strategy in quant is how can you effectively reduce your paper, which means what? Which means that as soon as the quant section begins, you need to spend as much as 3 to 4 minutes to really just observe the paper, open the question paper mode and scroll through all questions and make a list of which questions are my R1 questions, which questions are my R2 questions, which questions are my R3 questions. R1 are the ones which I start solving now. I'll solve them very quickly. R2 are I think I can solve them, but but it will take some samay. R3 are the ones that I will reach them only once I've completed R1 and R2. In most cases, you might not even reach R3 if you're weak in it. My dear friends, suppose after doing that initial exercise that okay, question number 2 it seems to be R1, so R1 के नीचे 2 लिख दिया मैंने, then question number 7 हाँ ये हो जाएगा, R1 है ये, ठीक है. Solve करने मत बैठना. If there is a question which you suddenly feel, अरे yes, I can solve this, don't start solving it instantly. No, first make a inventory, reduce your question paper. Suddenly you will realize that okay, my R1 has some 6 questions, my R2 has some 5 questions, suppose, or 4 questions. That's it. My entire quant paper is those 6 plus 5 questions. That's it. It is 11 paper for me. Sorry, it is a 11 question paper for me. Which means now the moment I do 11 questions in that paper, only then I will go to any other question. How does that help you? Why do the toppers use this as a strategy? Please understand it. इसके पीछे हर के पीछे मैं आपको reasons दूंगा. जैसे मैंने first के लिए आपको दिया था reason. That is how you backward calculate that how much you have to score. For this one, why is it so? Because firstly, you know for a fact that you anyways not have to attempt all questions, so best if you select the questions. That's one. Second, you know for a fact that the moment you see a question and you start solving it, you're always in the stress कि अरे मुझे लास्ट क्वेश्चन तक आना है एक बार, so that I can see कि अरे कोई अच्छा आसान क्वेश्चन लास्ट में रह तो नहीं गया. और अगर आप ये राउंड 1 राउंड 2 राउंड 3 करके क्वेश्चंस को पहले से शॉर्टलिस्ट नहीं करेंगे, तो आपको हमेशा ये डर लगा रहेगा कि लास्ट में मेरा कोई क्वेश्चन छूट तो नहीं गया, जो कि आपके साथ मॉक में कई बार हुआ होगा कि अरे सर यू नो वी कुड नॉट see that last question because we could not even reach that point. That's sad. That is losing out on some marks which are right there on the table in front of you. That's that. An extension to the second point in itself is that once you now know that okay, for me my entire quant ka paper is only 12 to 15 questions, then you know that okay, how much time can I afford to spend on a question. So suddenly you don't have that stress of that समय on me that अरे मुझे हर question 2 मिनट में करना है वरना नहीं होगा. नहीं. Now you know that my हैसियत is only to do some 11 to 12 questions, which means that in the next half an hour I have to do only those many सवाल in it. That's it. अब मेरे पे वो stress नहीं है, और उस stress नहीं होने के वजह से एटलीस्ट वो 10 से 11 क्वेश्चन जो मैं करके आऊंगा या करके आऊंगी वो ठीक करके आऊंगी. See again, I will not delve deeper into why this works so much and why not. If you want to speak more about this, you can book a 1-to-1 call with me on my link, which you can find in the description, or you can also join my free group wherein I can speak to you about this. The second non-negotiable I'll give you is for DILR. It's a very simple thing. ये इसको ना ध्यान से सुनना, because ये चीज for you to understand it, you have to ये आपको महसूस करनी होगी. It's actually ऐसा. It would happen with you that okay, you start to solve a set, and especially if you're weak, I know it happens with you for sure that you started to solve a set, and now the problem is that वो set 5 मिनट हो गए, 10 मिनट हो गए, 15 मिनट हो गए, वो बन ही नहीं रहा, और उसमें एक सवाल भी आपसे क्रैक नहीं हो पाया. And then for all you know, you've spent half an hour in the hope that you'll solve that one set, and now you have just 10 minutes left, and you literally know that okay, this is done with, this year's cat is done with. It hurts like crazy, because especially when you come back and you realize that अरे 2 सेट और थे जो कि पूरी समाज ने कर दिए थे और मैंने ही नहीं करे थे because मैं शायद पहुंचा ही नहीं था वहां तक. Then you realize that oh, it's a non-negotiable for DILR, my dear friends, is that make a thumb rule for yourself. I will accord not more than 10 minutes per set. If in 10 minutes I am not even able to solve one question with full confidence, I will leave the set and move to the next set. मैं बता रहा हूँ आपको, 10-10 मिनट चारों सेट पे लगा के अगर आपसे एक भी सेट सॉल्व ना हो, that is still much more बेहतर than you spending half an hour on one set and then walking out of the exam without having attempted anything. Again, hear me out. In both of these cases, you are not attempting anything. Suppose you are that weak in DILR that आपसे attempt ही नहीं हुआ, एक सवाल attempt नहीं हुआ. मैं फिर भी कहता हूँ आपसे, एक सेट पे half an hour attempt करके और बाकी सेट्स को आपने देखा भी नहीं, that is much more painful for you than you saying कि हाँ यार मैंने 10 हर सेट को I had actually attempted, मेरे से कोई सेट नहीं हुआ, कोई बात. That is still less hurtful, because in the case number 1, when you will be back at home, you'll be like, oh shit, I didn't even give it a try to the remaining sets. Therefore, it's a very simple non-negotiable which everyone knows, which you need to know again, is that a 10 minute, or for you it could be 7 minutes, 8 minutes, I don't know, for you it could be that, but not more than 10 minutes for sure. 10 minutes is my cutoff, maximum cutoff. इससे ज़्यादा मैं करूँगा तो I will kill myself. It's like that. Please follow this, apply it in the last few mocks which you are planning to take. This works. And the last one which I'll give you is for VARC. I've said this so many times, you know it already, but this is a non-negotiable. You have to reach a point wherein you are aiming to attempt all questions, all 24 questions in VA. RC, and which means that your RCs, you have to attempt RCs first. There is no way you're attempting VA first. There's no way. I've seen other educators giving this as a blanket advice कि हाँ ठीक है, अगर आपका VA पहले होके आप निकाल लेते हो सवाल तो अच्छी बात है. I doubt. There is a reason for that. See, VA will take as much समय as you give it. If you start solving VA, I can tell you, VA can take 15 minutes as well. You can't give it 15 minutes. The moment you've given VA 15 minutes, you are left with how many? Just 25. And in 25 minutes, I can bet you तुमसे 3 RCs भी नहीं होंगी. जो अच्छा खासा RC पहले अटेम्प्ट करके शायद तुम 3 RC और VA के सारे सवाल कर लेते. अब because तुमने VA को ज्यादा समय दे दिया, because again there is this theory. If you have a fixed area and if you fill it with smaller stones first, larger stones की space नहीं बचेगी. You have to first put the big rocks and then the smaller pebbles. That is how it works. It's the same thing with RCs. RCs first. Try and attempt all 4 RCs in half an hour and then accord the last 10 to 11 minutes to VA. These are some 3+1 non-negotiables which CAT toppers use. It works. It has worked year on year. This could be one hope for you to, yes, that whatever I'm scoring, I might score more because now I have broad clarity of what are my boundary conditions, which is very important for you to know. Let me know in the comments what you think about this, because now it's the time for you to speak up and share that, okay, how it works for you or not. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot and goodbye.